Hi guys, so I want to discuss why the hookup culture is so widespread and mainstream in Western society today, and why women gravitate toward the bad guys instead of the good guys. I recently received a message from a friend who wanted to discuss how the treatment of women has changed over the years, and why men get more attention from women if they treat them indifferently, as compared to 2 decades back when men would treat women with the utmost care to be able to date them. He is of the opinion that women treat men harshly on purpose and only date or hook up with men who are cold towards them. He wants to know the changing dynamics between men and women and why it is that Western women are happier when you don't give them any respect. So since I have been consuming a lot of content about such topics, I would like to touch upon the fact that there are multiple kinds of women in this scenario. There are some who ask where the good men have gone. There are some who say how they can get a good man. And then there are those who say that they hate good men. For millennials, I don't know if you all know this, but back in the day, men were taught to treat women nicely. They were taught to make sure that they put the woman first, provide for her needs and wants, and make sure the woman is protected when she's around them. The women were taught that it was the man's responsibility to provide for her and protect her from harm. They were taught to listen to the man and follow his leadership and judgment. Fast forward a couple of decades, and everything has rapidly evolved into complete ends. Now women are usually repulsed by men who care for them or show them that they're caring and emotional. They're more appreciable than the men who are cold, unemotional, and exploitative in the sense that they're down for a bad relation after which both the man and woman can say goodbye to each other and move on to the next target. I remember when I was in college, I was the good guy. I used to save up whatever little money I could so I could properly as a girl out on a date, the old-fashioned way. However, that barely worked for me. They always went for the guys who were dating everybody else on campus, the guy who'd treat them like they were dirt. At that time, I figured maybe this was because those guys and girls were all hormonal or just weren't grown up enough, and that maybe when I'll be in my 20s, things would change. But they didn't. It stayed exactly the same through my 20s, and even through my 30s. I saw girls literally run towards the guys who were the opposites of what you would call a good man, and then I understood that it's just in their nature. That they can't trust anyone who'd do any good for them. They're more likely to trust someone who treated them horribly because they perceived that to be the real truth about men and masculinity. I read somewhere that the West is bored with love. It just doesn't think of it as entertaining enough or exciting. So as a result, popular culture started to portray the bad guys as the symbols of masculinity. Listen, I'm not saying that you become feminized. I'm just saying that masculinity isn't what women have made it out to be. It's not a man in the form of a chest-beating gorilla who goes around and tears everything up. Masculine men are men who know their value. They're dangerous, but they're not going to be boastful about it. They'll stay quiet when they need to, but they'll roar when they want to. They're men of principles and men of high levels of dignity. If you go back a couple of decades, you will notice that the rise of the womanism movement changed the way girls and guys thought about things. The movies started showing that girls were bored of love and romance. They wanted more excitement. They wanted short-term flings with the bad boys of their colleges and neighborhoods. And the movies also showed them partying with these bad boys throughout the prime years of their lives. It showed them that even with the good guys around, these girls still wanted to date the bad boys because they wanted to change them. They wanted to change them into bad boys. It was like a personal achievement for them, to tame the beast. And when they couldn't be with the bad boy, because he was cheating on them with like 4 other girls, the girls always had that good guy waiting for her to finally stop messing around and be with him because he was the one who was financially stable. And he was the one who could afford her a healthy lifestyle and an acceptable standard of living. So the women never got to have that bad boy they always wanted because the bad boy was already cheating on them with the hottest girls in their social circle. And if you come back to how it is today, you will see all these women on social media with their dating profiles saying that they aren't getting the attention they want. They essentially want the same bad boys to like their profile pictures, send those hearts to their videos, comment on their posts, and basically give them the online validation they need. The good guys, on the other hand, aren't getting any responses from these women. So times have changed, but basic human behavior hasn't. It's the same thing going on, but at a different time, with different technologies at play. And I'll tell you what will happen to these women in this digital age of online social networking. They're going to go and put themselves out on display all over their social media profiles. They'll get loads of attention from all sorts of guys, and the guys that they choose to date and go out with will be the same stereotypical bad boys who offer them short-term excitement. And again, they'll want these guys to change and become providers and helpers and long-term material. And again, the guys won't change. In fact, again, they'll be simultaneously dating other really good-looking women. So these women will give up and settle down with the next best thing, which will be the good guys hovering around, waiting for these women. It's like a cycle that keeps happening. In this cycle, there's no place for the good guys. They completely get ignored. If this was a movie, the good guys would have it max, a 2-minute role where they speak from behind a glass wall or something. Remember the 80-20 rule, guys. 20% of the men are the ones that women want, and 80% of the men are the good guys who want to treat women well and give them the respect that should be accorded to women. So 20% of men are the ones who are getting all they want from a woman. And these men are the ones who are completely ignoring women. They're ignoring their calls and advances. They're ignoring their constant flirtatious advances. They're ignoring their cues and hints to meet them. They're the ones who are actually dumping these women and breaking their hearts. And the good guys are still trying to respect these women and treat them in a nice way and not getting any response from these women. And we can't generalize. These are not all women. But I can tell you this, most women, even the most average ones, think they are entitled to the bad boys, so they spend the rest of their lives trying to get them and keep trying their luck with them. Single mothers, and they will have aged and way past their prime. And with men going their own way now, these women are going to find really difficult to get into a relationship with a guy that they used to ignore in the past. And these guys will have a lot more social and financial value than the bad guys of the past, who will probably be now working for the good guys. So yes, the cycle continues. Women will keep going for the guys that treat them like dirt, and they will keep ignoring the guys who want to respect them. It's just how it is and how it always has been. That's it for today, guys. See you soon.